Ronin, the solitary student, must rely on strange medicines every day to keep his true nature at bay. But one bully suddenly kicks him, spilling the pills across the floor. They mockingly ask if it's a drug to make him grow even bigger. Faced with this cruelty, Ronin feels the violent urge to fight back. And though the bullies sense his hidden rage, something inside him suppresses the monster. The bully decides to use Ronin as a punching bag instead. Suddenly, Luna appears. The powerful girl looks at the scene with pure disdain and scolds the group. Once they leave, she stares at Ronin, wondering why he is so pathetic. Ronin remains silent, the two complete strangers, but something about the scene caught her eye. She recognizes those medicines. Later, Ronin retreats to his classroom, passing the girl in silence to wait out his day. In the classroom, the girls are whispering about a recording of a monster that appeared in the city, though most dismiss it as a fake. But back at home, Ronin's focus is entirely on survival. He desperately tries to hide his bruises, fearing his family might discover his pain. But Ronin's secrets go deeper than just his bruises. Senna, his grandmother, notices a footprint on his shirt, a sign he's being used as a floor rag by his bullies. Outside the apartment, the rumors are true. A real monster is lurking. As Ronin hides in the shower, a figure approaches the door. It's a man dressed as a postman. "I have a package," the man says, but he's not there to deliver anything. The intruder bursts inside, catching Senna off guard, but the demon is the one who ends up surprised. Senna dodges the strike and unleashes a blood ability, manifesting powerful lines of blood that tie the monster tight. She demands to know who sent him, since he carries no mail. The struggle breaks out with sudden noise, yet the sound of the shower muffles the chaos, leaving Ronin completely unaware of the danger. The creature struggles, but Senna proves she is the true threat before utterly destroying the demon. While Ronin was in the bathroom, worrying over his bruises, Senna was doing the same. Because her supernatural wounds healed so quickly, neither wanted to burden the other. The next day at school, Ronin hides the truth about his lost medicine from Senna, leaving him acting strangely. During gym class, the exhaustion takes its toll and Ronin collapses. He wakes up hours later, long after class has ended. His head throbs with pain in the quiet room. As he drifts between strange dreams and reality, he is suddenly jolted awake by a call on his cell phone. Senna delivers the news that they have to move once again. She knows Ronin hates the constant displacement, but his fragile reputation makes it necessary. His perceived weakness makes him a target for classmates, leaving him vulnerable and alone. Because he is always pushed to the outskirts, he remains a social outcast. Loneliness has become his only companion, a cycle that repeats before he can even build a single bond. Years pass by him in a blur of new classrooms and empty faces until now, as a teenager, the relocation cycle begins once more. A heavy silence falls over the house that night. To ensure no monsters return, Senna stays awake throughout the dark hours. Watching over Ronin's room, Senna wonders how much longer she can truly keep him safe. Though their home remains unattacked, more abyssal creatures are emerging from the depths of hell. Meanwhile, a worker is driving through the streets. The driver's truck is pulled toward the edge of the road, near where the monsters emerged. Looking, panic-stricken, his truck swerves and crashes violently into a barrier, leaving him stranded as more demonic creatures descend upon the wreckage. The next morning, a quiet calm returns to the streets until a stray kitten, scared by something hidden near a parked truck, scurries away, accidentally hurting the doorman in its frantic flight. Back at the apartment building where Ronin and Senna live, the doorman watches the strange activity as the driver opens the back. Inside the home, Ronin eats breakfast on his final day before the family is forced to move. But Senna senses a strange presence lurking nearby. She tells Ronin to leave for school early because she has an appointment. She rushes him out of the apartment, not understanding. Ronin enters the elevator to descend the 12 floors, and when the doors open, a passing delivery man's black smoke brings a strange familiar sensation to Ronin. This scent affects him deeply. Ronin watches the delivery men head up, a sense of curiosity bubbling within him. He heads back to the elevator, the strange feeling from earlier still weighing on his mind. A heavy silence hangs in the air. Downstairs, he passes a delivery truck and peers inside to see if it's truly loaded for so many men. To his utter surprise, the truck is completely empty. There were no packages to begin with. As he wonders why these men went to the top floor, a sudden crash echoes from above, and a body falls from the building, crashing into a nearby tree. Terrified for whoever just fell, Ronin rushes back toward the building to help. With the elevators out of commission, he has no choice but to sprint up the stairs, floor after floor. He bursts into his home to find the delivery men launching a brutal attack on Senna, but she is no longer holding back. Using her blood-based red threads, she shreds the monsters, leaving nothing behind but dissipating smoke. As the smoke clears, the carnage leaves no trace behind. But a final monster manages to land a blow, striking Senna. She retaliates with her threads, but stops dead when she realizes this creature is no ordinary monster. It is something far more dangerous. The beast warns her that the king's army is coming, and warns her not to fight them. Furious, Senna lashes out, pinning the creature with her blood-red threads. The monster ignores her fury, demanding to know where the key is held. Even as Senna struggles to overpower the creature, the pressure is mounting. Meanwhile, Ronin arrives at the top floor, lungs burning as he collapses against the door, exhausted and desperate to save his grandmother. But before he can burst inside, Senna stops him at the threshold. She desperately tries to keep him from seeing the horror in that split second of distraction. The demon strikes, driving its hand directly into Senna's chest, and Senna retaliates. Senna tears off the creature's arm, but the monster realizes the child behind the door is the key. This realization sends Senna into a murderous fury. She unleashes her power. She seizes the monster's head with lethal intent. Vowing that anyone who knows too much must die outside, the doorman watches in horror as blood splatters across the trees. The carnage shifts to Ronin's apartment, where a new monster seizes him as a hostage. The beast eyes Senna, questioning if the boy is the secret she's killing to protect. Senna pleads for his mercy, offering herself in exchange for the boy, but the monster sees through her lies, using Ronin's life to press his advantage. To save him, Senna reveals her true supernatural power, leaving Ronin paralyzed with shock. The monster seizes the moment of hesitation to sever Senna's arm, forcing Ronin to lash out in a desperate primal frenzy. After the creature violently throws Ronin against the wall, Senna's heart shatters. And as she rushes toward her grandson in despair, the monster strikes her once again, right before Ronin's eyes. The demon's weapon impales Senna, and in a desperate rush to protect her, Ronin is pierced through the chest as well. Having lost everything, he feels a surge of infinitely more powerful aura than ever before. Looking back, Ronin sees that the armless lady is no longer the woman he knew. She has become something entirely different. He reaches out, and thousands of red threads erupt from his hand, binding the demon from every side. As he clenches his fist, the threads compress, tearing the creature into pieces. Ronin watches in terror as the grandmother he loved unleashes such a terrifying power. With death imminent, his mind goes blank, plunging him into a fever dream of monsters and abyssal creatures clashing in the sky. He witnesses a massive war between monsters and warriors who share the same marks as Senna. As the fever takes hold, Ronin is flooded with memories that do not belong to him. Yet through the chaos, his own past begins to resurface. As a young boy, he used to fight back when provoked. Though he was often scolded for it, it was a defense against a world that felt increasingly. A stranger once scolded him for it, left entirely alone, with no one left to protect him. Back in the present, Senna holds her grandson close, her eyes brimming with tears as she gazes at the wound on his back. Knowing her time is short, she prepares a final gift for him, whispering, "That, the rebels?" Whispering a heavy truth. The rebels still rule this land. The very fabric of this world begins to
manifest her power. Senna knows she has no choice but to return the weapon she took from the little prince and send him into the fray alone.
A red flame blooms in her hand as she transfers her essence back into her grandson's body, whispering that this power is his destiny. The chains that bound him are shattered as power floods Ronin's body as she reaches out one last time to touch him. Ronin wakes alone. He has no memory of the fight, only the crushing void where his grandmother used to be. Desperate, he rushes to the police station to report her missing, returning time and time after, trying to find out what happened to her. But Senna has vanished without a trace. He tries to explain that a monster took her, but the authorities don't believe a word he says. To the police, his story is nothing more than a tragic joke. Angry at being ignored by the authorities, Ronin returns home, but he can no longer escape the memories. Nightmares of that day haunt his every attempt to sleep. He can't even tell if the horrors he saw were dream or reality. Weeks pass, and the routine of visiting the police for news becomes a hollow ritual. Eventually, he is ordered to return to school, but he carries a weight no classmate can see. A classmate asks if he's okay, and though he says nothing, a deep, unsettling feeling begins to settle in his gut. During gym class, the boy who was once the weakest surprises everyone with unnatural speed. It is as if he is someone else entirely. As the others struggle to keep up, the sensation of being watched lingers. The sensation only intensifies as the school day continues. Someone is watching him, trying to uncover the source. He crosses paths with Luna, the most beautiful girl in school. She asks if he's alright as they walk together down the hallway, her curiosity piqued by his sudden change. Ronin tells Luna he's doing fine without his daily medicine, but then a terrifying realization hits him. He hasn't taken a single dose since Senna disappeared. Driven by urgency, Ronin leaps out the window to chase this realization. Meanwhile, Luna is walking down the stairs when she finds Luna walks past a persistent bald classmate who tries and fails to act friendly toward her. She dismisses him easily, walking down the hall with a sense of relief. Later that night, Ronin stands on the street, feeling a strange new strength pulsing through his body. Across the street, he spots Luna working a part-time job, a job he never knew she had. He considers going to say hello, but his attention is pulled away by a figure behind him. Suddenly, a presence interrupts him as collecting cardboard for scrap. Ronin offers to help her, seeing a familiar resemblance to his grandmother, but he quickly turns away in embarrassment after staring too long. Ronin finishes his help and leaves, but meanwhile, a group of bullies from his class heads to the shop where Luna works. Luna refuses to back down, demanding they show ID before she'll sell them anything. Infuriated, the group's leader threatens her, even as his friend warns that Luna is favored by a school bully. The boys are kicked out of the shop empty-handed, but the blonde leader is far from finished. To take their frustration out, they begin harassing a poor homeless woman nearby. When she refuses their money and tells them they shouldn't smoke, they turn on her, mocking her poverty. Witnessing this cruelty, Ronin feels his temper flare and steps in to protect the lady. He steps forward. He rushes to lead her away from the group, only for the boys to confront him for interfering. As the bullies question his motives, Ronin realizes the gravity of what these people have done. Watching them mock the woman's hard work makes Ronin's anger reach a boiling point, and the bullies find his rage hilarious. They drag him into a dark alley to teach the weakling a lesson, throwing him to the ground while one keeps watch and the other prepares to strike. As the beating continues, something inside Ronin finally snaps, and a terrifying transformation begins to take hold. The sound of the screams brings the lookout running, only to find a scene he never expected. Ronin realizes he was hurting his friend. Unconscious of his own strength and actions, confused by this sudden violence, he flees the scene. He turns and runs away.
What is wrong with him?
Memories return as he realizes that despite being fatally wounded, he survived, and now an invincible power flows through his veins. The next day, he returns to school, where a red-haired student watches him with suspicion. Night, the bully approaches Ronin, demanding explanations. Irritated, the bully ignores the others and threatens Ronin's life. However, one student intercedes, mentioning that Ronin is going through a hard time because Senna is missing. The bully slams the table in a rage, but Ronin snaps. His gaze turns cold and predatory, a look so chilling that the bully feels as though his very soul will freeze in its tracks. Terrifying, and fear takes hold. The bully's legs won't move, paralyzed by a gaze that feels lethal. Seem like Ronin might actually kill him with a single glance. The bully flees in terror, leaving Ronin's friend wondering if his friend is even the same person anymore. He's no longer the same person. He's found the courage to face the bullies. And later that night, even a stray dog recoils in fear as Ronin runs through the streets. He finally reaches an abandoned building and enters, intending to test some suspected changes within himself. It seems best to head for the top floor. Amongst the scattered metal beams, he lowers his hood, the moonlight reflecting off his skin as he eyes a heavy beam nearby. To him, he has a plan. He intends to move the heavy metal beam, a feat that should be impossible for a normal human. He puts all his strength into it, but fails to budge it, praying that nothing is truly wrong with him. However, the steel bar is dented, so he tries again with sheer force. Marks erupt upon his neck as he struggles, until finally, the massive bar is hoisted upward. His power is finally awake. Ronin lifts the heavy beam above his head, holding it effortlessly with just one hand. At school the next day, Ronin's classmates notice his injured leg and question if he was mugged. His friends are too afraid to ask him the truth, whispering in case he hears them. One friend tries to hide his confusion by pretending to study, unable to accept the truth. Even his friends can't shake the memory of his strange, intense gaze from that night. Later, during lunch, a bald bully approaches the nerdy students to demand they share their food. The tension rises when the prettiest girl in school sits next to Ronin, showing him unexpected friendliness. The bully is furious at being ignored, but the boy insists Ronin is simply weird. It's impossible for someone to change that much, no matter how much you deny it. Did he hit his head? Luna mocks the students for their fear, calling their behavior pathetic. Since they're only scared now that Ronin is strong, Luna steps closer, urging him to finally admit that he is actually scared. But Ronin only smiles, vowing to provide a lesson in therapy that will put the bully in his place. The warning comes later that day. Luna messages him to meet at the back gate, or the harassment will never end. News of the impending showdown spreads through the students, and many are on their phones, eager for a spectacle. By 6 p.m., Ronin arrives at the gate, feeling nothing but indifference toward the crowd. The bully stretches, ready to deliver a lesson. As students argue over the winner, it seems obvious that Ronin has no chance of survival. The bully only wants to kill some boredom by breaking Ronin. While the crowd watches the show, onlookers begin to worry about the bully's well-being. The crowd senses it. Ronin isn't normal. The bully's arrogance turns to shock as a single devastating blow contorts his face and sends him flying backward amidst a spray of teeth. The impact confirms everyone's worst fears. The defeat was absolute. Ronin grabs the bully by his shirt, his eyes burning with a terrifying intensity. Horror replaces the crowd's anticipation as they witness Ronin's terrifying, fierce gaze. He leans down with chilling calculation to teach the bully a lesson, his very breath freezing the boy's face. High above the school, a mysterious observer watches, noting that this outcome was exactly what she planned. Meanwhile, as night falls, a creature attempts to break into a house. The intruder seeks entry into a quiet home. Ronin returns home, only to be met by his friend, who, noticing the shift in him, warns him he left his backpack at school and asks if he is truly okay. The question lingers, leaving Ronin to wonder if he has truly changed. He retreats to his room, haunted by the question of what he is becoming. Ronin didn't like being violent, but he also doesn't regret it. He enters his apartment, unaware that a predator is already inside, searching for something. A monster was lurking in the ceiling, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. While Ronin is distracted, the creature lunges. He spots it instantly and the two face off, trading questions in the heat of combat. The fight is brutal, nearly leveling the house, but Ronin dodges every blow with terrifying ease. He grabs the creature and, with a single motion, he rips its arm off. "You're not human," the demon gasps before the shock sets in. In a burst of rage, Ronin tears the creature's arm clean off. The wounded demon panics and leaps through the window. The demon thinks it can escape by jumping from the building, but Ronin descends like a shadow to intercept it. He strikes. The creature is slammed hard into the street below. It manages to crawl away, but it's severely injured, making it easy for Ronin to track. The demon is paralyzed with confusion, realizing no mere human should possess such terrifying power as Ronin's cold gaze catches him mid-flight. Even the creature feels a surge of primal fear. Every desperate attack from the monster is rendered useless, for Ronin has become something entirely different. He is no longer the boy they knew. Watching the beast attempt to escape, Ronin calmly grabs an umbrella and hurls it with lethal intent. The projectile strikes with such force that the monster is pinned to the wall, leaving it to gasp out the truth. They are only here for Senna. The interrogation forces Ronin to remember the day Senna was attacked. The creature reveals that every fighter sent to find her vanished without a trace, and none of them ever returned. Driven by fury, Ronin demands to know why they targeted his grandmother, only to learn the terrifying truth. They aren't hunting her, but the former general she once served. They want the key, and they believe Senna is hiding it. With a look of pure hatred, Ronin demands to know where the others are, but the demon scoffs, questioning if Ronin shouldn't already know since he is a demon himself. A demon? A monster? The creature screams, demanding to know how he can deny his own nature. Look at your hands. Would a human ever do that? The question leaves him completely unsettled. Doubt begins to consume him. Could he not be human? The terrifying possibility lingers as Ronin wonders if he has become a monster. While he is lost in thought, the demon slips away into the shadows. He doesn't even notice the creature's escape. Wandering aimlessly through the rain, Ronin stumbles as a passing mother and her son notice him. The boy trembles, sensing something wrong with the stranger's face. The man nearby can only stare in confusion at the man without an umbrella. The sudden sight of the strange boy startles them. The demon has vanished into the sewers, leaving Ronin to run through the storm. He is a man without a purpose, fleeing from himself. He ignores the terrified looks of the people around him and keeps running, desperately trying to hide his unnatural eyes. Meanwhile, deep within the demon world, a survivor returns through the portal to deliver news to the darkness. A scout arrives. Eager to report his findings to the leader, the monster reports that Senna is dead and leaves no trace in the human world. But he found a boy with the characteristics of a known traitor, though the monster struggles to explain why he couldn't capture him due to the massive power difference. The scout insists it wasn't a mere human, but a creature with a breath colder than the most powerful demons, sparking sudden interest from a figure in the shadows.
This is Demon General Chin,
who demands the truth. The monster swears it is no lie, describing a power so intense it felt like his body was burning from the boy's mere presence. Without a word, the general eliminates the servant. With red, cold eyes, Chin shows no mercy to the servant for bringing such unsettling news. Even the most loyal guards tremble, as the general dismisses the claim of a breath so cold it burns like fire, as mere nonsense. The true power in this room finally rises, and he reflects on the chilling reports from the messenger. Cold fire and the trail of a missing son. The descendant of the first king is alive. threatening the ancient peace between humans and monsters. For millennia, the breach between worlds was sealed, turning demons into mere myths and legends. But those ancient borders are cracking, and as the gateways open, humanity faces total extinction. Desperate for answers, Ronin rushes to the police station. There, they show him footage of his grandmother, Senna, from shortly before she disappeared. The footage captures her at a pharmacy, triggering a sudden realization. Those black pills Senna gave him were bought right here, and Ronin rushes to find the source. Driven by a need for answers, Ronin tracks down the merchant who sold Senna those mysterious black pills. "Who are you?" he demands, confronting the shopkeeper. The man tells him to wait, but Ronin quickly realizes the man is attempting to flee. The merchant abandons his shop and runs, but Ronin pursues him through streets and over walls. Even with obstacles in his way, the merchant can't outrun him, and Ronin prepares to strike. However, the boy's mention of his grandmother stops the man's escape mid-stride. Looking doubtful, the man asks what the boy just said. Ronin repeats that Senna was his grandmother, forcing the man to finally speak. The merchant reveals a chilling truth. The pills are designed to suppress demonic powers and hide one's true nature. By swallowing them, demons can perfectly disguise themselves among humans, hiding their true nature from the world. Ronin is left reeling from the implication. Was the medicine meant to suppress his own monster nature? If he needs it to hide, is he even human? The merchant wonders if Ronin is the child Senna brought through the rift, and he begins to reveal her true history. Senna was the greatest warrior of the demon kingdom, a general serving the empress until a great betrayal shattered their world. Kun, the king's younger brother, invaded the palace with his own army to seize power. The conflict left the king and queen dead, turning the palace into a graveyard of ash and chaos. Many survivors fled to the human world to hide, and the merchant reveals he is one of them. The merchant admits he is a fugitive demon, sent to find those being hunted by Kun's forces. He explains that Senna's sudden disappearance left him terrified for her safety. The news breaks Ronin's heart, forcing him to admit that his beloved grandmother is dead. The merchant warns that the hunt won't stop. They will keep coming for anyone like them, and they will especially target Ronin. Now standing alone atop a building, the boy is left to question the very nature of his own existence. Whether he is human or a monster no longer matters, because the only thing he truly cared for has been stolen. He'll make them pay with their lives. Ronin thinks, even as the scene shifts to the demon world, where the passage of death claims all who try to return. There, demons mock the perceived arrogance of humans, believing their world is safe behind the barrier. But a black-haired boy with red eyes reveals the truth. Senna left the key to the passage for the deceased son of the former king. Seeing a golden opportunity, the current demon king orders his soldiers to unleash chaos to find the child. Back at the empty house, Ronin searches through his grandmother's belongings, finding a photo that reminds him she will always be the same special grandma to him, no matter where she went. Back at school, word spreads of his victory over the bully, transforming his status from outcast to a popular figure as former classmates suddenly turn friendly. Ronin struggles to understand the sudden shift. His old friend explains that people used to avoid him out of fear, but now, the fear of the bully, Sang-chun, is fading. Luna, a pretty girl Ronin knows, approaches him with an invitation to meet after school. Though hesitant, Ronin is pushed by his friend to accept, leading him to wonder if a normal life is finally within reach. Meanwhile, a bitter, bald bully vents his rage on others, consumed by the gossip regarding his recent humiliation. His followers plot to corner Ronin's friend under the guise of an apology, but the plan is met with a slap to the face. Infuriated by the refusal, the bald bully stares down the boy, his patience completely gone. The bully uses every manipulative trick in the book to force obedience. But the final blow isn't a word, but something held firmly in his hand. The humiliation sparks a sudden, desperate defiance as the boy swings at the bully's face. This challenge sends the bully into a blind, murderous rage. As he unleashes full force on the student, while Ronin sits far away, lost in thoughts of the demon world, Ronin realizes that his friend has been gone for far too long, and the bullies have vanished from the room. Searching outside in a panic, he finds his friend, who tries to play off his absence as merely skipping class to avoid a trap. When pressed, the boy finally admits he fought them, claiming it wasn't a big deal because he managed to land a punch. Determined to act against his friend's wishes, Ronin prepares for the worst. He decides to confront the bullies, not out of anger, but to ensure they never harm another innocent soul. His friend watches, noting that Ronin has changed. Inspired by him, the boy realizes he can no longer be a punching bag. Even as his friend smiles through the trauma, Ronin sees the underlying fear. He remembers Luna asking to meet after class, but he tells her he has something more urgent to attend to and heads back to face the bullies. Meanwhile, mysterious hooded figures loom outside the school, their presence unrecognized by the clueless students. The bullies have dragged Ronin to an abandoned place, challenging him to face them without fear. Inside, Ronin tries to settle things with words, but he is suddenly ambushed from behind. Back at the school, the hooded men are sniffing the air, tracking a specific target. The students remain blissfully unaware of the danger lurking nearby as the scene shifts back to the school's abandoned shed, where a surprise attack is met with a sudden reversal. Ronin effortlessly dodges the group and strikes back, kicking an iron bar so hard it embeds itself in the ceiling. He begins knocking out the bullies with terrifying ease, and though they are paralyzed by fear, they are all swiftly defeated, leaving the terrified bald boy gasping in confusion, wondering how one man could defeat his entire group with just a single blow. Ronin stares him down with a piercing cold gaze and commands him to come closer. "Now, we know you're a total coward." Desperate and cornered, the bald boy reaches for a bottle, swearing he won't leave that place alive. Chaos erupts as monsters reveal themselves, descending upon the school to attack the unsuspecting students. Driven by the scent of prey, these abyssal creatures tear through everything in their path, including Ronin's very friend. Ronin turns his back on his enemy to worry about the others, only to be struck from behind by a cowardly blow. He reacts just in time, slamming the door to block the attack. Ronin commands the boy to shut up and stay safe, but the humiliated bully is determined to kill him in revenge. Amidst the chaos, teachers rush to investigate the noise, only to be met with death. The creatures slaughter the faculty without hesitation, leaving a trail of silence where students once were. They are on a relentless hunt, targeting everyone in search of the mysterious key. Meanwhile, Luna hears the screams of the invasion and realizes the school is being overrun. Without a second thought, she sprints toward the heart of the nightmare. While the world flees in terror, Luna charges into the fray, dodging the first demon with lethal precision. She uses a weapon on her leg to slice the creature and launches herself into the air. She grabs the demon by the neck, pulling its own lines tight until the monster is eliminated. Terrified by the carnage, the other students are the students simply abandoned him. Another innocent life is about to be lost. However, Ronin appears and triggers the fire alarm, drawing the monster's attention away. Now the monsters have identified their prey, and all he wants is to escape. He intends to lure the creatures away from the other students along the way. The bully attempts a vengeful ambush, but he is too slow. A monster suddenly grabs him, threatening Ronin. "Run, or this kid dies." If Ronin were the protagonist, he wouldn't even care about this trash. The bully can only scream for help, begging for a salvation that isn't coming. Ronin coldly asks why he should bother helping, and terror flashes across the bully's face. As the creature lifts him into the air, the bully realizes his fatal mistake. Terror turns to desperation as the bully pleads for a mercy that will never come. In those final frantic seconds of life, that Ronin has vanished, but in a flash, Ronin reappears to strike the creature with such devastating force that he tears through the very wall itself. The boy he once targeted is now displaying a level of power that defies all logic. As the threat is neutralized, the bully is left trembling in pure terror. Staring at the carnage, he wonders if Ronin is even— But before the truth can be answered, something else interrupts the silence. Another monster is slammed against the wall by the sheer prowess of Luna. Ronin watches the girl fight with awe, wondering how she maintains such terrifying strength. Then Luna turns her gaze toward the two, seeing them standing there. Luna scoffs at the weakness around her, and then she jumps, crushing the bully's face under her boot until he falls unconscious. Ronin watches in confusion, but Luna is blunt. She needs him to lead the monsters away. The girl demands he realize the truth. The monsters aren't just attacking, they're hunting him. Before he can even ask why, dozens of monsters swarm into the hallway, cutting off their escape. Luna shouts for him to flee to the school gym immediately. Driven by necessity, Ronin leaps through the window and sprints toward the gym. He reaches the destination and turns back, expecting the coast to be clear, but to his shock, the others are right behind him. They are swarmed by a wave of creatures, and Ronin finds himself struggling to stay upright. As he is pinned down, disgusting drool begins to drip onto his face until Luna's silver wire lashes out, pulling the monsters away and slamming them into the wall. Stunned, Ronin asks who she really is. Luna has no time to explain her skills because the monsters have arrived in overwhelming numbers. Dozens of creatures are invading the area, and the two find themselves cornered. Suddenly, the monsters begin to merge, forming a colossal nightmare creature covered in eyes. This bizarre transformation buys them a moment to hide, leaving Ronin wondering how they could ever defeat something so massive. Luna has a plan, but the monster notices her, shouting that she is hideous and noisy. The beast swings a massive hand in a deadly strike, intending to crush Luna, but she dodges and slams a giant curtain down to blind it. Looking up, she declares it is Ronin's turn. High above, Ronin grabs at the only weapon he can. He tears an iron structure from the ceiling and falls onto the monster to strike. The school was a slaughterhouse, and most of the students were wiped out. In the chaos, a monster with a dark aura stalks through the wreckage, carrying a student in its arms as it searches for something specific. Deep within the gym, something catches the eye. On the sports court, the chaos settles as the giant monster lies defeated, impaled by the heavy iron structure. As Luna and Ronin watch the beast, Ronin wonders if his grandmother's death left behind nothing but ashes like this. Luna urges them to find a safe place, but before they can move, a scream pierces the air. Ronin rushes to the gym door, finding his only friend bleeding and broken. "Are you okay? Why are you bleeding?" he cries. Luna's gaze drops to the floor, sensing a predatory shadow creeping toward them that is far from normal. As his friend screams in pain, a massive shadow looms behind them. A demon strikes without warning, its massive hand impaling both boys as Luna screams in horror. As they fall, death feels all too familiar, the same crushing sensation of losing someone dear that took his grandmother away. While Luna's cries echo through the gym, Ronin is pulled into the past, back to the warmth of happy moments shared with Senna. He remembers wishing on his birthday to stay by her side forever, wrapped in happiness. But that happiness has vanished into a waking nightmare. Since his grandmother is gone, he reaches out to touch her one last time, only to watch her turn to ashes while her final command to protect the world's gates rings in his ears. That grief ignites a terrifying blue surge of power deep within him. Flames erupt from Ronin, and even Luna can see that he is no longer the same boy she once knew. Then, with a single step, he releases an icy surge that freezes the very air around him. His breath carries a lethal frost, capable of freezing even the souls of the most wicked demons. With a final, devastating strike, he shatters the frozen creature into nothingness before finally collapsing into unconsciousness. Much later, Ronin awakens in a strange, unfamiliar place. The scent of the bed suggests he was tended to by a woman. And as he wanders through a luxurious house with steel-barred windows, he realizes this place is anything but normal. He finds a massive arsenal of weapons tucked away, only to sense someone approaching. Ronin lunges for an axe to defend himself, but freezes when he realizes the intruder is actually the beautiful Luna. Luna sits down, admitting she honestly thought he would have died given the severity of his injuries. Ronin explains he has no memory of the attack, to which Luna responds with a cryptic, unsettling smile. It's better that he doesn't remember, she seems to imply. After more time passes, Ronin offers his thanks to the girl who saved him, but Luna only teases him, calling him a demon boy for his earlier aggression before he finally asks, "What happened to Yin Yang?" He's still terrified for his friend, who was stabbed right alongside him. Luna just smiles, knowing he would ask. She promises that he is fine and currently being treated in a safe place. Ronin asks if that's really true, and she gives him a certain, firm yes. Relief washes over him, and Ronin breaks down in tears, losing all sense of composure. It is a massive weight off his shoulders, even if Luna looks like she can't comprehend this sudden display of emotion. Suddenly, Ronin's face shifts. He looks her in the eye and demands to know who she really is. They share a heavy, silent stare, acknowledging the fear that both of them felt. Ronin is left speechless by her reaction. Ronin refuses to stay in a stranger's house, making a tense exit from the room. However, Luna steps in to stop him, warning that he is in no condition to survive another night alone. She declares that he won't leave this house unless he can get past her. In a fit of irritation, Ronin attempts to strike her, but the movement causes his chest wound to bleed once more. Reacting with fierce intensity, Luna slams him to the ground, mocking his inability to even defend himself in a normal state. The sudden declaration that she is now his guardian leaves Ronin utterly astonished. The tension in the kitchen is high, especially after Luna's attempt at cooking ends in a charred mess. Embarrassed by the failure, Ronin takes over and uses skills learned from Senna to whip up an incredible meal. As they eat, he admits how much he missed his grandmother, leaving a quiet curiosity in Luna's eyes. While the two share a moment of rare connection, the world outside is far from peaceful. News of the devastating attack begins to spread like wildfire. Images and recordings of the carnage surface online, though authorities move quickly to scrub the internet of the truth. While the world struggles to distinguish reality from fake news, a shadow organization works to suppress the truth. They are focused on the mysterious student who defeated the creatures, and their leader has just issued an immediate command: find him. Meanwhile, the tension of the battlefield fades into a rare, romantic quiet. Ronin softly recalls his grandmother, describing her as a woman with a pure heart who never lost patience with him. Just as he's about to descend into sadness, Luna cuts through the gloom, assuring him that he is safe now. Her sudden interruption leaves him feeling visibly embarrassed. He realized that he has work to do, but Luna poses a question that lingers. Isn't he curious about what those creatures actually were? Ronin realizes Luna knows far more than she lets on. Looking around at the overwhelming collection of weaponry in the house, he's terrified to think of what's coming next. Uncertainty clouds Ronin's mind as he wonders if Luna truly knows the truth about the monsters. To find answers and the strength to fight them, Luna leads him across the ruins of the city toward her destination. They arrive at the massive headquarters of the Defense Organization Against Monsters, a skyscraper crowned with 3 giant video boards. When Ronin asks if such a powerful entity can be secret, Luna simply explains that a secret organization doesn't need a secret location. Inside, everything appears eerily normal. As they wander through the halls, Luna explains that this institution has been fighting the creatures for centuries. Near the elevator, they encounter a girl with purple hair and a blank expression, clutching a guitar and ignoring them entirely as they complete their biometric identification. After punching in a secret code, they enter the elevator, which begins to descend at a terrifying speed. As the floor drops away, Ronin can only ask if they are headed straight to hell. Ronin's comment only makes the girl angry with Ronin, and Luna's sudden laughter only adds to his confusion. They arrive. Guided by the girl into a heavily guarded zone, after passing labs and testing chambers, they finally reach the room Ronin was sent to see. In this high-security chamber, Luna takes the lead and suggests they introduce themselves to the newcomer, leaving Ronin completely uncertain of the situation. Thousands of cameras watch from every angle, turning the armored room into a digital panopticon. While Ronin takes in the scale of the place, Luna begins to prepare. With a suspicious look, she unfolds her guitar to reveal it is actually a deadly weapon, assembling the equipment with lethal precision. Ronin can only watch with growing unease, dreading what comes next as the transformation is complete. Luna suddenly levels her weapon at him, questioning why he didn't raise his guard. Before Ronin can respond, she pulls the trigger. He stands frozen, unable to grasp the sudden violence. From behind the reinforced glass, a mysterious man watches the chaos unfold. The tension snaps when Luna pulls. A magic projectile whistles past, grazing him in a deadly speed test. He has passed the first test. But Luna won't stop. She begins shooting frantically, closing the distance with terrifying speed. She strikes with a massive elongated kick that shatters the ceiling, sending debris and smoke everywhere. Amidst the swirling dust, Luna continues her relentless assault, leaving Ronin to desperately dodge while he fears the loss of his own control. With his growing demon power, Ronin can't help but wonder if more hunters will come to eliminate him. The M1 leader watches the training closely, noting Ronin's incredible defense, but he's puzzled by one thing. Despite the intense training, Ronin refuses to strike back, lost in his own thoughts. Because he's distracted by his doubts, Ronin fails to see Luna's incoming strike, barely avoiding a hit from his own protector. Luna is furious at the lack of warning, but the aggressor simply ignores her and walks away. She leaves behind a trail of tension and a visible injury on her hand. The leader of the facility finally steps forward to address the pair, asking what this display means for their future. He demands to know why Ronin won't show his true strength. Luna defends him, but the leader is unmoved. He explains that to truly understand his reaction, the attacks must be completely unexpected. Ronin coldly explains that he only dodged because he couldn't bear to see Luna get seriously injured, staring down the leader to prove he was certain of her safety. However, the leader isn't impressed by his restraint. The leader scoffs, claiming Ronin underestimates Luna and that demons have targeted individuals with their abilities for ages. He asks if Ronin truly intends to just sit there and wait for
those demons to strike?
This was a direct demand for him to finally show his true power. Luna prepares to interject, but the leader cuts her off, promising to provide all the support Ronin needs to survive the demon onslaught. However, he adds a steep price. Ronin must prove his worth to the organization. After a brief interruption from a passing staff member, the meeting is adjourned, leaving Ronin to wonder if every monster must truly die. Even after the meeting, a weight lingers in the air, and as Ronin walks with Luna, he notices a newfound sadness in her eyes. Their quiet walk is interrupted. They encounter Ronin, a combat agent from M1. Looking at her, Ronin wonders if Luna is just like this warrior, brandishing axes and chains with lethal intent. Luna denies the comparison, but Ronin can't forget the massive collection of weapons he saw in her home. She tries to deflect, insisting that the agent is the truly scary one, but as they grow closer, a sudden sight halts them. While a medical team transfers a patient who triggers a strange sense of familiarity in Ronin, thunder rumbles in the distance. Deep in the underworld, a man trains his combat skills through the storm. In the underworld, Chin swings his sword with enough force to cut through mountains, fueled by a deep hatred for Ronin. While he trains in the gloom, the king of the underworld arrives to his respect by kneeling. The king notes they are running out of time, but Chin is certain that the portal will surely open again. Meanwhile, back in the city, Ronin is searching for a way to hide his true nature. He tracks down an old man, hoping to secure a suppressor for his demonic powers. Ronin can't risk his new allies discovering the demon blood coursing through his veins. The old man warns him not to be so eager. Finding answers won't be easy, but Ronin is determined to track down an expert who can help him control his growing darkness. Later that night, Luna, acting like a suspicious wife, questions his sudden departure, leading to a tense argument between the two before he makes his escape. He leaves the annoyance behind
him,
seeking a way to master the monster within, even if it means descending into the depths beneath the city. The training is brutal. The old man's staff, imbued with glowing green energy, strikes with blinding speed, forcing Ronin into a desperate dance of survival. Cornered against a wall, Ronin refuses to strike back, his hesitation making him an easy target for the relentless assault. Seeking to break his spirit, the old man mocks the death of Senna, questioning why the legendary warrior would sacrifice herself for someone so weak. He questions why a warrior of her caliber would die on Earth fighting mere demons, hoping to trigger the rage Ronin is desperately suppressing. The air turns freezing as Ronin's fury finally boils over, awakening a terrifying truth that the old man never expected to witness. The boy is the son of the former king. Underground, while rain pours heavily above, the old man works to help Ronin control his infinite malicious demonic energy. To prevent the boy from being consumed by his own power, they must train to make this darkness his own. So, after releasing the first vial with purified energy, the training begins. Suddenly, a giant hand strikes Ronin, throwing him into a wall as he faces a massive personification of his own demonic energy. As much as the boy struggles, the creature is superior in every way, leaving Ronin on the brink of unconsciousness. The old man watches in terror, fearing the training might actually kill the boy. He tries to end the session, but the boy's energy is so overwhelming, it seals the door like the authority of a king. Ronin lies defeated and exhausted, yet he refuses to let go of his struggle. Even facing total defeat, Ronin remains determined to win. As the creature closes in, Ronin awakens to find the old man waiting by his side. The old man laments, feeling that he is at fault for putting so much pressure on the boy. But Ronin feels no old man expected. Ronin holds no resentment. Ronin feels no bitterness, only a desperate need to understand the nature of his power. He fails to control it once again. Lost in the sudden outburst of power, determined to conquer his monstrous nature, Ronin vows to master his power even if it kills him. The old man can only whisper a plea for him to stay alive. Meanwhile, in the demon underworld, lightning strikes a merciless, furious sea. Inside his castle, the current king awaits news as the demons report that food is running out, leaving the demon world uninhabitable. To survive, the demons' only hope is to invade the abundant human world. One of the demon stags asks, "Until when will people believe Shen's words and wait for the door to the human world to open?" This insolence provokes the king's wrath, forcing his servant to beg for forgiveness. As his demon servant departs, the king commands him to call Chen to him. Alone, the king admits his position is in danger, and the world he rules won't last much longer. Soon, a messenger finds Chen, the king's sword, near the possible portal to warn him that King Kun is looking for him. Chen remains unmoved by the threat. Despite being a powerful tool of the king, Chen's true intentions remain a mystery to the servant, to which Chen warns that he has eyes and ears everywhere. Having risen to power through blood and strength, Chen has become the king's right hand, but he cautions the messenger to watch his step as the messenger retreats. Meanwhile, back in the human world, Ronin and Luna are quietly washing dishes together. Luna notes that for a week now, Ronin has been disappearing every night like a stray cat. She demands to know where he goes, but Ronin refuses to reveal his secrets, leaving her concerns unspoken. Luna urges Ronin not to keep secrets from her, prompting him to question what their relationship even is. Seeking answers through strength, Ronin returns to his training. The old man releases several pots, filling the cave with smoke. He warns Ronin that these monsters are manifestations of his own power, and he must not lose control. As the creatures attack, Ronin dodges with instinctual precision, his movements growing faster and more focused. The old man observes his monstrous pace, noting that even though he is improving, because the monsters represent a piece of the former king's terrifying legacy, Ronin is no longer fighting mere shadows. Instead, he faces manifestations of raw power, speed, strength, ice, barriers, and eternal flame. Determined to prove himself, Ronin charges into the chaos, ready to destroy them all. But the battle is uneven, and the old man watches as the boy struggles to find his footing. Through sheer creativity, Ronin begins to use the environment to defend himself, finally cracking the horn of a monster to reclaim his strength. By shattering that essence, he is becoming something much more powerful than a mere student. In the cave, Ronin unleashes a massive ice attack that freezes the entire battlefield. nearly catching the old man in the frost. The old man can only watch in pride as the boy masters his overwhelming elements. Meanwhile, at an organization's training facility, Luna is focused on a different kind of survival. She is competing in a high-stakes race to reach the 10th floor, facing off against a beautiful new rival. Luna is certain her rival won't accept defeat. The competition turns fierce when a girl armed with a prohibited giant gauntlet joins the race, ignoring the rules to gain the edge.
Meanwhile, at M1, the leader Jihu searches for the boy, but Professor Silwa, the defense research manager, intercepts him with startling news.
She leads him to a hospital room where a survivor of the school attack is resting. He has been recovering for a long time, but his miraculous survival has left the experts in shock. This medical impossibility has the leadership on edge, unsure how a corpse could simply wake up again, was dead, only to regain consciousness. For now, Jihu orders that they simply keep a close watch on him, but even in sleep, Ronin's body shows signs of life. Remains under constant supervision. Ronin channels his energy into massive spinning projectiles to defend himself. His old master watches closely, realizing Ronin's strength is already transcending the limits of human imagination. Using energy shaped like giant fidget spinners, the boy's combat instincts are put to the ultimate test. The old man refuses to hold back, revealing his body has become entirely indestructible against Ronin's strikes. It won't be easy. The next day, Luna wakes up to a pristine home and breakfast, finding the house perfectly organized and cleaned. Returning home early, Ronin finishes the housework before Luna even wakes. Ronin notes that his morning fatigue is fading, though Luna suggests his nightly walks might be the cause. When he asks if she was worried about him, a flustered Luna quickly claims she only cares about how his danger would affect her. Ronin's gentle apology for his isolation, since Senna's death leaves her feeling a strange, fluttering heat in her chest. Fighting her own romantic impulses, the warrior girl insists that now that he is recovering, he must accompany her to M1 with her. As they walk, Ronin sees. As Ronin gazes at himself in the mirror, a terrifying question takes hold. Did Luna see his mark back at school? The thought that his transformation was visible leaves him gripped by a growing dread. He desperately asks Luna if the experts at M1 can tell monsters apart from superhumans, prompting her to explain that monsters often appear human until they use their abilities. Her answer offers a small glimmer of hope that his secret remains safe. Even if she missed it, a darker reality weighs on him. M1 knows he is a superhuman being hunted by monsters. Since Senna's death, the threat of demonic arrival grows more certain by the second, leaving Ronin lost in thought. Ronin barely hears Luna ask what is weighing on his mind. The bully used to demand money for snacks and cigarettes. But now, he is met only with silence. Even his former friends mock him, reminding him that everyone saw him crying and begging for mercy like a coward in front of Ronin. The harsh truths felt like punches to his ego. Though he tries to claim he is still the strongest, no one fears him anymore. They only look at him with contempt. The shame has completely broken him, revealing the coward hiding behind his bravado. Meanwhile, Ronin sits on a bus with Luna, watching students head to school. Seeing their happy, normal lives brings him a bittersweet joy. He feels a pang of envy for a life he can never return to. His normalcy is gone, and soon they arrive at their destination. Luna worries about the danger of being alone while monsters hunt him. Yet Ronin suspects her old job was merely a cover to watch him closely. Therefore, Ronin leads her to his old house, standing frozen at the entrance as the weight of his past settles in. Luna asks if he is okay, but Ronin desperately tries to mask his vulnerability in his history. He claims he only wants to retrieve some old belongings, though he is secretly searching for a set of mysterious keys mentioned in rumors. He hopes one of those keys is hidden within these walls. While he searches in silence, Luna discovers a photo of Ronin with his grandmother, Senna, a sight that feels strangely familiar to her. Ultimately, Ronin finds nothing and refuses to reveal his true purpose, telling Luna they must leave immediately. Meanwhile, back at the M1 headquarters, in a sterile medical room, an unconscious boy suddenly wakes up, struggling for breath behind his mask, until he pulls it off to calm down. A doctor watches with a dark, calculating look, offering to trade information about Ronin for the rare blood sample they just collected. Even though the doctor claims Ronin is recovering, the boy is too desperate to wait for a full recovery. Driven by urgency, he sneaks out of the facility while alone, only to be confronted in the lab by a pink-haired girl who finds his presence suspicious. But as she leans in to inspect his face, she finds him strikingly handsome. He simply smiles, keeping his true motives hidden. Clutching his stolen samples, Ronin is suddenly interrupted by a nurse who scolds him for being out of training. During the confrontation, one of the precious samples slips from his grasp and hits the floor. The boy looks up and asks coldly why he has been classified as a biological risk. Before anyone can answer, the doctor orders the pink-haired girl to leave immediately, And the nurse tells Ronin to return to his room to find his answers, but as she exits, the boy suddenly grabs her, dragging her into the sample room where everything falls silent. Soon, the only sound is the eerie spreading of red stains across the glass door. Then the boy emerges, now wearing a doctor's coat as he gazes at the stained glass, smiling at the sight of the red of life. Did he fool our protagonist from the start? Or is he actually the demon that attacked before? Place your bets. Meanwhile, inside a training room, a dangerous rumor is spreading like wildfire. They say Heir, a seasoned veteran, was actually attacked by a mere civilian. Fear keeps people away from her, but the whispers persist even as an agent tries to confirm the truth about the veteran's defeat. When asked about the encounter, the girl simply ignores the question, leaving the agent in a state of outraged disbelief. The tension peaks as the subject of all this chatter finally enters the training center, causing every agent to freeze. The boy from the rumors is Ronin, the one who nearly fought Heir until Luna intervened. Now, the entire facility holds its breath, eager to see if he truly possesses the terrifying strength the rumors suggest. A pink-haired girl looks on devilishly, noting Ronin's beauty. Everyone else in the facility remains cold and hostile. Instead, Ronin makes his terms clear. He will cooperate with M1 against the demons, but he won't be their subordinate. His defiance is met by a boy who mocks the idea of cooperation, claiming Ronin is no better than the others, prompting a veteran to step in, claiming Ronin's very gaze is an annoyance that needs a good beating. The veteran asks Ji-hoo for permission to teach the newcomer a lesson, but before the fight can even begin, a frantic staff member opens a nearby door. She panics at the horror inside, where the room is stained red and a body lies severed from its head. Back at the training ground, the veteran demands Ronin pick a weapon, but Ronin stubbornly refuses, opting to use only his fists. This cocky attitude even draws an unexpected admirer from a pink-haired onlooker who cheer for him, much to the annoyance of the onlookers. They see too much of Heir in his arrogance. Driven by a desire for revenge after being humiliated by Heir, the veteran strikes, moving with blinding speed to get behind Ronin. The veteran boasts of his velocity, darting into blind spots so quickly that Ronin can't even track him with his eyes. Claiming to be M1's greatest speedster, the veteran lunges from the shadows for one final strike, but to his absolute surprise, Ronin dodges the blow and counters, slamming his fist into the veteran's head like a meteor striking the earth, sending him crashing down. Ronin grips his fist, desperately trying to contain his overwhelming strength. By fighting with his eyes closed, Ronin relies solely on his hearing, a technique so advanced it leaves even the veteran observers stunned. While Luna watches with growing admiration, Heir realizes just how much the boy has changed. Heir watches from the sidelines, noting how Ronin's intense concentration keeps his demonic mark hidden. He has finally learned to master his terrifying power. Meanwhile, amidst the chaos of the tests, Ronin's friend hides behind a door, unaware of the danger looming near. Someone is about to catch him completely off guard. A man approaches, but the sight of a doctor's badge stained in blood causes immediate alarm. As the tension rises, we shift away from the facility to the demon realm. Chen sits quietly watching a glass jar where a small monster is beginning to stir. This creature is a nightmare in the making, a tiny centipede capable of hijacking a host's mind and body to spread its shadow. The horror is only just beginning. While a dark fate awaits the doctor who stumbled upon Ronin's friend, the focus returns to the training ground. There is a chance the veteran will have the same fate as the doctor, stuck in the same helpless position. Seeing the boy's condition, Ronin can't help but feel worried. Luna quickly tries to reassure him, promising the medical team will take care of him. But while they interact, Heir finds the whole interaction quite amusing. Luna immediately questions her laughter, clearly wanting to defend Ronin's reputation. As the two girls face off, a confused Ronin watches a pink-haired girl cheering for the fight. Amidst the tension, an installation leader approaches to discuss Ronin's potential for strength through training. The man's words are abruptly cut short when every security alarm in the facility begins to blare. An intruder alert screams through the halls, shocking the girls into silence. It shouldn't be possible to bypass the security of a place like M1. As alarms scream, the base leader orders a combat stance and immediate evacuation for all non-combatants. Ronin insists on staying to fight, but the leader dismisses him as a mere civilian. Get out before the confusion causes more casualties. Luna suggests she guide him out to avoid trouble, offering a playful smile amidst the rising panic. The leader agrees, assigning Luna to the front lines, while Sihi tells Ronin to stay close. Luna smiles warmly, promising to protect him as they head into the unfolding crisis. While security hunts the intruder, a victim is already found dead in the laboratory. As they walk through the halls, Ronin asks if the facility has ever faced an invasion before, and Luna reassures him that it was a long time ago, promising her protection once again. Still, Ronin can't shake the feeling that this attack is happening, only because he has arrived. Suddenly he comes face to face with Yun-Yong, an old friend he thought was lost to the accident. After a brief, cold shock, Yun-Yong pulls him into a hug, leaving Si-hee delighted to have found a second handsome boy. Yun-Yong tells Ronin there is no time for games. The alarms mean they must evacuate immediately. Meanwhile, in the M1 security room, leaders watch the chaos unfold on their monitors. The truth is far more chilling. The person who attacked was a member of the medical team, shot down in the fray. The analysts zoom in on the footage, desperate for answers. The confirmation is terrifying. The boy they see on screen was thought dead, only to be resurrected. With the culprit identified, orders are issued to find them at all costs. But the intruder is already with Ronin and Luna, so Si-hee leads them to the Sector 1 security room for protection. Si-hee leaves to fetch water, telling them to stay put. While the group is safe for now, Ronin can't stop wondering how his friend survived a fatal chest wound to end up here in M1. Ronin promises to protect him, but a cryptic remark from Yun-Yong leaves him in a state of utter shock. As Ronin sits in silence, the M1 lab discovers the intruder's location. It's the very same security sector where the boys are hiding. Back at the M1 monitoring station, Professor Silwa turns on the security cameras to keep an eye on the group. The screens show the three boys together, though the authorities question if they should intervene immediately. Officials demand immediate intervention. Silwa maintains the lockdown, ensuring no one can enter the sector, but they remain focused on the monitors. The tension builds in the control room as the leaders watch the children through the lens, unaware of the storm brewing nearby. Meanwhile, Si-hee returns with water, her mind drifting toward a crush as she senses the heavy atmosphere. Her thoughts are cut short when she notices a suspicious bloodstain on Ronin's lab coat. Yun-Yong quickly claims it was just a spilled sample from the lab. But the atmosphere shifts as Yun-Yong's aura turns predatory, and Ronin tries to intervene, sensing something is deeply wrong with his friend. Then the facade breaks, and Yun-Yong begins to laugh maniacally. Realizing the danger, Ronin shouts for Si-hee to run just as an urgent hologram from Ji-hoo flashes a warning. The intruder is in the room. Before anyone can react, Yun-Yong reveals his monstrous claws and lunges at the stunned Si-hee. Yun-Yong dissolves into a mass of shadows, vanishing into thin air and leaving only a hollow void behind. He is gone, leaving the security cameras, and Si-hee watching nothing but empty space. In the control room, Professor Silwa realizes the terrifying truth. This might be the same parasitizing monster from the school incident. This horrifying realization sends a chill through the professor as she realizes. While some doubt the survival of such a creature, others suggest that if a parasite can inhabit a host, they might attempt to heal it. Professor Silwa views Yun-Yong as a unique research opportunity, but she is making a grave mistake by underestimating the chaos to come. The stakes are rising as the boss hopes Ronin can dominate the demon, though Silwa fears Yun-Yong cannot be captured without being killed. Suddenly the shadow strikes. Yun-Yong reappears instantly, lunging at the defenseless Si-hee. Ronin swings at his friend's head, but the monster is too fast, slipping back into the darkness before the blow can land. Then a desperate sound pierces the chaos, the true voice of Yun-Yong begging for help from within the darkness. Fury and terror wash over Ronin as he hears the pleas, realizing he might be forced to kill his old friend to stop the beast. But despite Ronin's quick intervention to push the monster back, the look in the shadow's eyes shows that Yun-Yong is far from pressured. Ronin realizes the horror of the situation. The entity hiding in the shadows is the same demon that once claimed his friend's life. It is the same monster that he thought was dead along with Yun-Yong. With Yun-Yong's body now merely a vessel for the demon, Ronin orders Si-hee to stay safe before smashing the light fixture. He plunges the entire room into total darkness, cutting off the view for any monitors. Watching the monitor, Si-hee can only wonder why he would make his own combat situation so much more dangerous. But Ronin has a plan. If there is no light, there are no shadows for the demon to hide in. From the void, Yun-Yong's voice erupts in a mocking laugh, ridiculing Ronin's failed promise to protect him. The demon tries to provoke him, but Ronin ignores the taunts and reaches deep for the instincts he used during his training. By closing his eyes, he prepares to trade sight for a primal connection, relying on heightened senses and his demonic eyes to track the killer. In the pitch black, Ronin's nightmare strikes, but he strikes back even harder. He unleashes a relentless barrage of blows, catching the entity off guard and driving it against the wall with a devastating kick. Ronin coldly says, "Don't make me laugh. Yun-Yong is dead and you're just using his body." His fury radiates an icy aura, proving he has finally mastered the terrifying power within him. But the darkness is a lie. The demon strikes, freezing Ronin's very soul in an instant. Ronin walks past the others in silence, leaving behind nothing but a profound sadness in his wake. Moments later, M1 leaders hold an urgent meeting to investigate the recent chaos. The investigation hits a wall because demons leave nothing behind but ash. As M1 leaders realize demons are specifically targeting Ronin, a terrifying possibility emerges. No one can be trusted. While Ronin walks away, Heir waits to confront him regarding his hesitation. Ronin offers no answer to her question, retreating into his own thoughts. Breaking his silence, Ronin explains his hesitation was due to Yun being his friend. But Heir remains unsatisfied by his grief.
Ronin pulls away from
the confrontation, looking visibly on edge. Luna steps in to defend him, arguing that even a demon cannot erase the sight of a friend's face. And though she grows annoyed at the lack of empathy, Heir refuses to let her pride go. The veteran challenges Luna's strength, claiming M1 has no room for such sentimentality, but Ronin has already checked out, walking away from the heated argument. In the analysis room, researchers review the battle footage to make sense of the chaos. They witness a flash of light followed by an explosion, but the results defy all logic. Instead of burning, the walls were instantly frozen. Professor Silwa realizes Ronin wields the terrifying power of freezing fire. She is deeply impressed, having never seen a superhuman with an elemental ability of this magnitude. While the researchers struggle to define his limits, Ronin seeks out Muzan to find answers. He is exhausted by the endless cycle, frustrated that every demon he kills is immediately replaced by another. All he wants is to understand why this is happening. He demands to know how long this nightmare will last before his own death. Ronin seeks answers from Muzan, but the old man tells him it is finally time to face the truth. The old man bows deeply before him, offering respect not to a student, but to a prince. Muzan reveals the devastating truth. The demon realm was consumed by flames after a bloody war, leaving many soldiers failed in their duty to protect their king. Once a royal guard in the castle, Muzan witnessed the day the demon world was destroyed by an unstoppable fire. It was all caused by the king's younger brother Kun, who could not stomach his brother's decision to father a child with a human. This betrayal sparked a war between the brothers that shook the very foundations of the demon realm, led by the immensely powerful King Khan. During the chaos, Kun's cowardly strategies left the castle defenseless, forcing the royal guards to flee for their lives. In the wake of the chaos, Muzan fled from the demon realm, hiding among humans for all these years. With the death of Khan, the fallen king of the demon realm, all hope was lost for their people. Muzan reveals that Senna was once part of the military, then drops a truth that changes everything. Ronin is the son of King Khan, hidden by Senna to escape execution by Kun. The survivor reveals he once thought Ronin was just an ordinary demon child, but he was wrong. He saw the truth when he saw the
blue flames
that never extinguish, a legendary power that marks the true successor to the demon throne. Senna kept this a secret, leaving Ronin oblivious to the fact that Kun is now hunting him to eliminate the threat to his reign. Kun seeks to kill the true successor and steal the throne's key, making all demons hunt Ronin to clear his path to power. Because Ronin's very existence holds the fate of both races in his hands, he can never truly be safe. This revelation cuts deep as we find Ronin running through the pouring rain. He struggles to hide his tears, haunted by the memories of a night when his castle fell and his world was lost. In the chaos of the demon realm, his human mother, Hua Yun, could only hope to protect her son after the death of Khan. Muzan explains that Senna likely tried to delay this war, hoping Ronin could live a normal life far from this destiny. Since the discovery of his identity, peace is a luxury Ronin will never again afford. The king's power is the key to the dimensional rift, and Ronin's blood holds that same terrifying potential. That is exactly why Kun wants him to use Ronin to open the rift and launch a massacre on the human world. If the rift opens, the demon dimension will flood the earth, fueling a plan for the total extinction of humanity. Back in the rain, Ronin realizes the crushing truth. The very power he seeks to master is the tool for the world's destruction. Beyond the rift, the demon realm watches the passage with hungry eyes. The current king has come to investigate a sudden violent shaking, as a servant reports that the gate is resonating with the power of the key. The tremors are new, and Kun realizes that this only happens when— But as the key's power fully manifests, a terrifying new possibility emerges. Permanently from the human side, if he succeeds, the path to Earth will be lost forever. Irritated by the thought of losing access to the human world, Kun desperately seeks the whereabouts of Qin. He has yet to fulfill his mission. Meanwhile, Qin stands alone by the sea, watching the rift, and confirming that the precious child of the queen has finally awakened. Everything traces back to that terrible day in the past, when the nightmare first began. Hua Yun, the human wife of King Khan, entrusted her infant son Ronin to Senna, to save him from a horrific fate, to protect him from the darkness of their realm. That night, Senna took the baby into her arms, accepting a burden that would change history. Then, she made a second, desperate choice by approaching her other child, Chin. She held his younger sister tightly. Senna watched with relief as the boy and his sister remained hidden and safe, knowing they had escaped the immediate danger. She looked at Chin, realizing a massive responsibility now rested on his young shoulders. She commanded him to flee with his sister the moment she left, warning him not to look back. When he hesitated, confused by her urgency, she insisted he must simply obey. They hurried toward the forest, passing a small warehouse of rocks. She told him that at the end of the path, he must show a specific chord to awaiting contact. After a final, heartbreaking hug, she promised she would find him later. As Chin watched his mother leave for the last time, he realized the child she was carrying was the queen's son. His mother had told him he was strong, entrusting him with the duty to protect his sister. Because of that abandonment, Chin began to harbor a deep resentment toward the human world. That night, he obeyed her orders and fled to the meeting point. But the contacts were all dead. The army of the new king had slaughtered them, leaving only bodies behind. The boy's screams for his mother went unanswered. He would never see her again, left to wonder if she had truly fled to the human world at the request of a human. After years of searching, that trauma remains in the present at the castle of the new king. The report comes in. They cannot locate Chin, stating that Chin cannot be located. Since Chin has vanished, Khun's frustration boils over into a desperate command to gather his strongest soldiers, all to stand against the closing rift that threatens to seal the demon realm away forever. The mission is suicide, but in this kingdom, orders are absolute regardless of the cost to life. The chaos of this dying world is often blamed on one individual, the king's own right hand, Chin. He has been a target of resentment since the very beginning. Back when he sparked a civil war that tore the demon realm apart, it was during those dark times that a young homeless Chin approached the soldiers, only to be mocked for his status. But the boy refused to bow, shouting his ambition to become the strongest soldier of them all. Even for seasoned soldiers, the boy's pure arrogance was a shock to see. That was how the servant first encountered Chin. He was merely a child. The boy screamed his intent to fight for the new king, and despite the soldier's resistance, a servant recognized the fire in him. He was nothing more than a war orphan, destined to be cast out by society. Moved by the child's gaze, the servant offered him a way out, a chance to join the army. Khun only meant to scare him. The man declared that becoming a soldier of Khun requires being prepared to die for the cause. To test his resolve, the man demands he discard his most precious possession. His sister trembles as she clings to his clothes, realizing the weight of this choice. Observing the boy's hesitation, the man assumes he lacks the stomach for war and orders him sent away as useless. Years pass, and the air grows heavy with hostility in the region. Eventually, the boy returns, shouting his desire to join Khun's army with tears stinging his eyes. Even the servants could see the darkness brewing in Chin, the boy who would become a formidable force. Meanwhile, the rift separating the human and demon realms begins to narrow, pulling the two dimensions closer together. Trapped by red vines within the rift's defenses, Chin finds even his immense power isn't enough to stop the onslaught. As he stares into the void between dimensions, he is pulled back to a memory of the forest. The night he abandoned his sister, he gave her his coat and their mother's necklace, promising to return to her. She had told him not to worry, insisting she wouldn't be afraid. But by leaving her, Chin realizes he has become just like their mother, repeating the same tragic mistake. This realization fuels his rage, making the passage between worlds feel even more suffocating. He can only think of the sacrifice he made to become a soldier of Khun. Fueled by a lack of hatred, others might fail, but Chin has succeeded through pure spite. As the key to protecting this world, Ronin finds a strange sense of familiarity in a butterfly fluttering through the night. One late night, after a brutal training session, he finds Luna still awake. Despite his attempt to ask about her role as his guardian, she brushes him off, leaving him to wonder. The next morning, they arrive at the M1 base, ready to face whatever comes next. Arguments break out between the girls, leaving Ronin completely lost in the confusion. However, a teacher arrives to interrupt the tension by ordering Sihi back to the training room. As she is dragged away, she shouts declarations of love, leaving Luna feeling relieved by the silence. The teacher then commands Luna to join the training as well, leaving Ronin behind alone. The head scientist interrupts them, ordering Luna to leave because she isn't responsible for him here. Left to his own devices, Ronin tells Luna to focus on her training. Luna walks away, but her mind is heavy with worry over what Ronin might still be hiding. Unaware of her concern, Ronin is taken away for testing. They begin the process. As they collect samples, Ronin can't help but wonder how many liters of blood these tests will demand. After the grueling medical exams, the woman leads Ronin to the Anwan chief. The chief explains that the tests were simply for biometric registration, granting him access to the M1 base. Ronin, however, can't help but wonder if his true nature slipped through. The woman insists he is perfectly ordinary, but the doubt lingers in the air. He can't shake the feeling that something is being hidden from him. The woman's claim that he is merely healthy and powerful seems suspicious, leaving Ronin unsettled as he heads to see his master. That night, Ronin shares his plan with his master, revealing his intent to join the organization to hunt monsters and gather vital intel. Seeing his determination, his master agrees to help him navigate this dangerous path. Muzin believes he must gather the soldiers of Khan, who fled through the passage long ago. He predicts they will rise when they realize that Khan's son is growing stronger in this world. Muzin is prepared to fight on the battlefield to ensure Ronin takes his rightful place as king. Meanwhile, under a full moon, a red light explodes from a hidden lake. A mysterious figure has finally crossed into the human world, one who is driven to destroy Ronin for the perceived abandonment by his mother. But while these shadows stir, something else is moving in the demon world. In the demon world, villages are falling silent as people vanish without a trace. Rumors are spreading that the residents were dragged into the deadly rift, a place where no one survives. All that remains is a trail leading deep into the forest. The king's servant fears these disappearances are a coordinated strike by remnants of the old king, a chaos he cannot afford. He orders an immediate search into the woods to find the truth. Meanwhile, in the human world, a mysterious blue butterfly emerges from the water. A couple watches the strange creature as it surfaces, but their wonder is short-lived. The insect is instantly crushed by Shin, a man tasked with surveillance. He reveals the butterfly was a spy sent through the portal and demands the team move faster. Luna's mission is simple: follow, but do not kill. While walking through the night, she realizes a shadow is trailing her. She can't see a face or sense a presence, so she decides to lure the mystery pursuer into the open to strike. Meanwhile, Ronin spots Luna from a bus and notices she is heading in the completely wrong direction. As he wonders about her intentions, he suddenly detects a chilling demonic presence nearby. He doesn't hesitate, quickly jumping off the bus to investigate the source.
while the monster loses sight of Luna in the darkness.
A sudden shape lunges from the shadows. Luna effortlessly blocks a heavy steel bar, forcing the creature to reveal its true horrific snake body. She reveals she wasn't surprised, but she is left questioning why a monster would be stalking her. The creature begins to communicate, stating that she knows exactly what he wants. The speed Luna once relied on fails her here, and the monster slams her into the ground with devastating force, leaving her motionless. The snake demon sneers, demanding to know where the key is hidden. But Luna isn't finished. A crimson light erupts from her body as she shreds the creature's tail with sudden lethal claws. Her true identity is unveiled. She is Ari, a powerful nine-tailed fox. In a furious rage, Luna manifests a power that mirrors her mother's, shocking the demon with her high-level demonic energy. Driven by the fear that her existence is too dangerous, the monster ignores all orders and launches a desperate, lethal strike. Luna's strength fails her as a single drop of venom touches her skin, draining her life away. Just as death closes in, a familiar voice cuts through the chaos. Is that Ronin? Luna screams in terror, desperately trying to explain herself while fearing for her life. But Ronin moves faster, smashing the snake demon with a blow that leaves it dazed, and, realizing it cannot win, the monster dives into the earth to escape. Luna tries to give chase, but her wounds and the venom keep her pinned to the ground. Prioritizing the wounded girl over the monster, Ronin carries her back home, where they finally tend to her injuries. Once safe, Ronin demands the truth, questioning if Luna has been lying to him about his identity all along. Luna tearfully insists she is on his side, just as his mother once was. She reveals that M1 is much more complex than a simple defense force. Luna explains how factions viewed Ronin's mother, an elite agent, as a threat to coexistence, leading to numerous assassination attempts. Fearing for her child, the queen secretly built a military organization to protect the prince. By secretly founding the Blue Butterfly Group, the elite military force Luna now serves. To prove the scale of this conspiracy, Luna reveals classified footage of the M1 facilities. As they watch the footage, a suspicious gap in the recording reveals a hidden truth. A secret door exists, likely hiding the Queen's most classified data. Ronin's eyes light up at the discovery, sensing a chance to uncover his mother's legacy. He wants to strike immediately, but Luna fears they are walking into a trap. Elsewhere, a snake soldier returns to report the encounter to Shin, the antagonist seeking the key. Even though their presence is now known, Shin remains unfazed by the revelation of their existence. To him, finding the key is only a matter of time. Meanwhile, at the training base, the tension breaks for a moment as Luna hugs Ronin's arm, pointing toward the pathetic snake monster that previously tried to pick a fight with him and failed miserably. Seeing the ridiculous sight of the defeated beast chasing them, the pair can't help but share a rare, happy laugh. Luna remarks that they act like children, even as Ronin notes how Sihi manages to stay upbeat despite everything. However, Luna's tone shifts as she claims that everyone is born with a destiny that leaves them no choice but to move forward. Driven by that very fate, they head toward the exact spot where the security footage was cut, determined to uncover the truth. They begin their search for the secret location, while meticulously inspecting the walls for any sign of a hidden way in. Luna discovers a section that sounds hollow when struck, so she channels her energy into the structure. With a surge of power, she manages to force the door open. It was much easier than she anticipated, and as they step inside the hidden chamber, only to find several creatures trapped within glass tubes. Meanwhile, Shin is elsewhere, deep in his own investigation. While occupying a private apartment, Shin discovers something just as significant. Deep within the files, they stumble upon the truth. Photos of Ronin's mother, Hayan, alongside images of their own biological mothers, women who died fighting the demons instead of raising them. Everything is new to Ronin, as he had never even heard her name, and as he absorbs this shock, a shadow begins to loom. Suddenly, Ronin feels a presence Simone is approaching. Luna warns him she is moving quickly to keep up. Ronin realizes they must hide on the ceiling to avoid. The M1 director, who walks right into the room they just occupied. He watches as the man picks up a book and begins to read. Meanwhile, the two manage to squeeze into a ventilation duct, feeling breathless and pressed tightly against one another. They wait in silence. After a tense wait, the director finally leaves, allowing Ronin to whisper to Luna. The sudden closeness leaves her embarrassed, the two staring into each other's eyes in the dark. Ronin leans in, causing Luna to shrink back in fear, but he only mentions her hair and the air passing through it, suggests this duct is connected to another room. Elsewhere, the director stops and thinks. Peering through the duct, Ronin and Luna stumble upon a hidden laboratory where Professor Leoran is speaking to a subject about increased doses. The woman's behavior seems suspicious as she applies something experimental, warning the subject to report any changes. And after a grueling night of spying through the cramped ducts, Ronin and Luna finally escape back home. They are safe, for now. Ronin asks Luna what she makes of the secret lab, to which she reveals that Leoran has always seemed suspicious. Even during training, she pushed them far too hard. Convinced there is a deeper connection, Ronin hands Luna his phone to show her the evidence he found. The photo reveals coordinates for the deep sea, suggesting M1 is planning an infiltration route through the same portal used by previous expeditions. When Luna asks if they are training Lirim to follow his mother's footsteps, Ronin can only think so. At his apartment, Shin's presence is so destructive, it could tear even the memories of home apart. Unexpectedly, Shin finds himself caught off guard by the unexpected security of the building. He confronts a confused worker, questioning why someone is in this supposedly empty place, and before the innocent man can answer, his life is violently cut short. Meanwhile, in the demon realm, monstrous beasts are being chained and cast into the abyss portal to widen the rift. One beast breaks loose, but King Kun is more concerned with his dwindling army than the chaos. He is enraged to hear that soldiers are fleeing to join Khan's resistance, leaving him more isolated than ever. Kun's fury turns on his servant, Barrow, who begs for mercy as the king casts him toward the vortex, ordering that more monsters be sacrificed to grow the portal's size at any cost. Terrified, the servant swears his obedience. Back in the human world, shadows loom over a dark alleyway. Two pointy-eared demons huddle together, waiting for a meeting that could decide their fate. Musin, a man with a scarred lump, arrives to drop a bombshell. The king's son is alive. This revelation, hidden behind a flicker of a lighter, changes everything. But they aren't the only ones watching from the shadows. Chun, the right hand of King Kun, appears behind them with terrifying speed. Chun warns them not to trust rumors, but the two demons attempt a desperate split to escape. He doesn't bother playing chase, using his flames to brutally tear one's arm away. Cornering the crippled demon, Chun demands the truth about the king's son. His presence an impossible threat that far exceeds anyone's expectations. In just a second, he was defeated. Chun retaliates with a searing burst of fire, cutting the girl's weapon in half and striking her down. He scales the building to hunt his target, but finds only empty air. The girl's bloody escape route is all Chun needs to lead him exactly where he wants to go. The next morning arrives with a deceptive calm, masking the chaos of the previous night. Suddenly, the peace is shattered as alarms blare through the M1 headquarters. An attack has been reported in Area 23A. While some agents are eager for their first mission, others know this is a deadly trap. Despite orders to stay back, Nero decides to join the fray, completely ignoring the restrictions placed on his unit. If demons start appearing, in the chaos below, demons as large as titans are swallowing humans whole. As the expedition team approaches the carnage, only 3 warriors remain in the helicopter. They ignore the terror, betting amongst themselves on who can tally the highest kill count. While the young soldiers fight with ruthless, almost playful efficiency, Professor Silwa observes the battlefield from a distance. She calmly analyzes the chaos before moving with goddess-like grace, her skills effortlessly sweeping through the encroaching monsters. Landing softly atop a pile of corpses, Silwa finds the slaughter far too easy. To others, she is an inspiration, but despite the admiration for her strength, her arrogance keeps her isolated. Silwa senses that something is deeply wrong, yet she can find no explanation for the unnatural ease of the fight. She clears the remaining threats, but the momentary peace is an illusion. The slaughter is far from over, for a colossal monster is now emerging from the endless pit. Amidst the chaos of an evacuation, Muzan searches for an acquaintance and finds Hana gravely injured. The dying girl clings to him, terrified by the news that Chin has arrived on Earth. Muzan pleads for her to recover, but Hana has already accepted her end. Her only wish is to know if the king's son truly lives. When Muzan confirms the lineage survived, she dies with a final tear of joy. As she passes, the darkness spreads, and Chin arrives in the human world to continue the devastation he so craves. The boy is eager to find Ronin and unleash his resentment. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Heir struggles to contain a colossal monster that threatens to level the entire city. Just as the creature is about to crush her, Ronin appears, obliterating the beast with a single, impossible strike. The monster turns to ash instantly, leaving the agents in shock, while some dismiss his godlike power as mere beginner's luck. Heir remains silent, refusing even Luna's hand in a moment of stunned pride. As the battleground clears, Ronin watches the wounded being carried away, feeling the crushing weight of responsibility for the casualties caused by his intervention. Luna urges him back to the M1 base, but Ronin knows this wasn't a victory. It was just the beginning of the onslaught. Elsewhere, Muzan delivers a terrifying warning to his allies. The strongest demon of the realm is returning. Decades of blood and war have passed since the last great conflict, yet the nightmare is about to repeat itself on Earth. Suddenly, the Earth fractures above them as a massive cave opens, signaling that the terror has arrived. The cave is open because the Demon King's general has arrived to personally lead the new war. Warriors attempt a desperate stand against him, but they are utterly powerless. With terrifying, blinding speed, Chin repels the entire group, leaving almost no one standing. Chin's relentless assault turns the battlefield into a slaughter, and he slams his sword into the ground, unleashing a sea of fire. Muzan manages to block the wave, saving the last two survivors from certain death. Impressed by the resistance, Chin acknowledges Muzan's skill, but Muzan has no respect for a man who would ally with a traitor. Now, the fugitive former commander of Khan's army faces off against the general in a fierce duel. Amidst the clash, Chin demands the location of the key, putting immense pressure on Muzan. Knowing he cannot win this fight alone, Muzan can only watch as the girls he rescued try to intervene in the desperate struggle. To Chin, the survivors are nothing more than insects. Behind the wall, Muzan can only hear the screams of those left behind. The girl's sacrifice was a desperate attempt to buy time, but it wasn't enough to stop Chin from breaking through the ruins. Walking into the city, Chin moves through the crowds like a ghost. Unaware of the danger, the civilians think it's nothing more than a movie set, but the demon's lifelong hatred of humanity is about to erupt. He turns his blade on the unsuspecting crowd, finding relief in the carnage. As the executioner hunts Muzan and tears the city apart, Muzan flees at top speed. The survivors he tried to save were the only companions he had left in his long life. They were the young ones he promised to protect. Now sacrificed to the madness, Muzan flees, yet his path remains. Muzan's path remains stained with the blood of thousands. As Chin hunts for the true king, the old man desperately tries to ensure the son's safety. Muzan senses Chin is sacrificing innocent lives to force a reveal, but he cannot move yet. This hunt is fueled by a grudge from a childhood of hell, where Chin's mother abandoned him for a human. Chin seeks vengeance against the world, and a young man hiding under a truck becomes his next target. But Muzan cannot stand by and watch any more blood be spilled. Suddenly, the old man intervenes, attacking Chin and branding him a coward for using innocence as bait. Chin isn't looking for a way to end the fight, but a way to purge his soul through revenge. He mocks Muzan, believing the old man's strength is useless against such hatred. As Muzan fights to contain him, a massive evacuation begins on the other side of the city, far from the initial battleground. Luna warns Ronin that a mysterious group is hunting for the Blue Moth. Luna continues, explaining that the Blue Moth group aims to help Chin reclaim his throne. As they talk, Lirim, a silent observer, watches them from the shadows, his true motives unclear, but the conversation is cut short. The leader of M1 issues an urgent transmission to all agents. A Code 9 situation has just been declared nearby. A legendary level enemy has... No, a code 9 means a legendary level enemy has appeared. The combat between the two figures is so intense, it threatens to tear the entire city apart. The footage shows a man with black hair who looks unlike any monster seen before. Even Lirim, usually so arrogant, trembles before these human-like monsters. Driven by a sudden, inexplicable pull, Ronin charges toward the unfolding carnage. Luna follows him, ignoring shouts that he is merely running away in fear. She knows the M1 agents view Muzan as nothing more than a demon to be slain, but she refuses to let Ronin face this alone. To save him, they must reach the battlefield before anyone else. On the front lines, Chin is a whirlwind of destruction, his demonic eyes radiating pure hatred as he lashes out at Muzan. Even Muzan's diamond-tough skin is no match for the speed. In a flash, his arm is severed. Whoever controls this kind of power can destroy anything. Chin's destructive intent is clear. He won't stop until Muzan is reduced to pieces. Even Muzan, attempting to wear down the arrogant demon down through sheer endurance, faces a terrifying onslaught. The young man's power forces Muzan to shout that this will only end when his head rolls. Chin's attack is like a typhoon, forcing Muzan to struggle just to defend himself with his sword. He is holding back, but only to spare the civilians nearby. Chin moves to finish his earlier threat of severing Muzan's leg, but as he steps forward, the earth erupts with energy. Any hope Muzan had is instantly crushed as his limb is ripped away. The young demon's power far surpasses the old, and he has already fulfilled his promise of destruction. He acknowledges Muzan's combat prowess, but now the veteran must pay for betraying his own kind, and the price is his. Life realizing his protection was in vain, Muzan accepts his fate without hesitation. As Chin moves in to make his end painless, Muzan scoffs at Chin's claims, calling him a wretch who has trampled on both human and demon lives. As the tension peaks, Chin senses a strange aura, something unknown. But this energy doesn't belong to the old man. A massive power is approaching, and before Chin can react, a devastating strike hits his face like a meteor, fueled by Ronin's pure anger. Watching the carnage, Muzan is overcome with emotion. Seeing Ronin's back, he is reminded of his former master, King Khan, who believed a true king must protect his own. The king's shadow looms. In Ronin's silhouette, Muzan sees his fallen sovereign, shedding a single tear for the boy who has come to end this destruction. Meanwhile, Luna warns that M1 agents will soon arrive to clear the field, level everything in their path. Luna tries to pull him away, but Chin suddenly appears, seemingly unharmed by the previous chaos. Ronin realizes this man is no ordinary monster. His immense power and lethal sword mark him as the one who holds the key to the hatred driving this war. Ronin, fueled by the grief of losing his grandmother, can only watch in shock as Luna intervenes, her body twisting into a terrifying demon form. It's too dangerous. Luna refuses to back down, insisting that Ronin must evacuate Muzan before the M1 agents arrive to level the entire area. Her determination wins him over, and he leaves her with a final heavy thanks. But as they part, Chin stares at the girl, haunted by the ghost of a life he abandoned long ago. Years of pursuing power to avenge his family left him with nothing but nightmares and the memory of the sister he left behind. He left her behind in his quest for vengeance, a choice that continues to plague him. When Chin utters a certain name, Luna's fury explodes. She slams the demon into the ground with enough force to shatter the earth. She relentlessly attacks, pinning him down with her strikes. Her hands tighten around his neck as she demands to know how he knows that name. Through tears, she screams her own name, but Chin only whispers the truth. Rim. Chin, exhausted, claims his suffering was all for Luna, even if she was thought to be dead. As the M1 squad arrives at the chaos of the battlefield, Lee Aram struggles to maintain control amidst the inferno. Any mistake in this crisis would be fatal. Meanwhile, Ronin desperately tries to carry the old man away from the destruction. Missen's body is growing lighter, turning to ashes right before Ronin's eyes. His master's final lesson is a heavy one. The living must bear the responsibilities of the dead, but they also have the power to change the future. With a final farewell, Misen dissolves into nothingness, leaving Ronin to face a new wave of sorrow. While Ronin mourns, Luna turns her attention back to the battle. She declares herself a defender of the Mixed Blood King. She lashes out at Chen, calling him a coward for failing to kill her when he had the chance. The strike is fierce, but Luna shows no weakness, despite the revelation of her true family. She demands to know why Chen gave her the necklace if he truly wanted her dead. He remains silent, his silence revealing a cold, solitary path that even Rim cannot stop. Suddenly, a chilling aura sweeps the air as a new threat emerges. Luna stares in shock, never expecting him to return so quickly.
Misen is dead, leaving Luna alone in her grief.
Therefore, Ronin throws himself into the fray, and the two monsters clash with a fury that shakes the foundations of the world. As they tear through buildings like plastic, the demon General Chen withstands Ronin's royal blood with a freezing aura, proving his hatred is as legendary as the fire he wields. Confused by the scale of this violence, Luna slaps her face to clear her mind. While Chen coldly maneuvers to kill the king's son, Ronin's deadly strikes force him to dodge with perfect precision. Chen sees only a reflection of his own cursed fate in Ronin's eyes. But even the hero's confidence wavers when Chen lands a devastating blow. Desperate, Luna joins the fray to prevent a fatal blow, even as M1 agents led by Lee Aram arrive to witness the terrifying transformation of their allies. Luna prepares her defense, readying her swords to meet Chen's onslaught. With a cry, she transforms into the nine-tailed fox and unleashes a massive firefox attack. In the chaos, Ronin pierces Chen's chest, but it is a trap. The demon general transforms and begins to drain Ronin's immense energy. This surge of power is so vast, it pierces the heavens, tearing a rift between worlds. As the energy erupts into the sky, Kun's demon armies realize their long-awaited invasion of the human realm has finally begun. The sky cracks open as a massive portal tears through the atmosphere, signaling the start of a nightmare. High above the chaos, Ronin sprints across the rooftops, a lone figure against the encroaching darkness. Nearby, the world descends into madness as onlookers witness the terrifying fallout of the opening rift. Even as Lee Aram grapples with her growing suspicions, the city begins to fall. Monsters rain from the sky like death from the heavens, turning the urban sprawl into a slaughterhouse of unimaginable scale. The situation worsens instantly. While the M1 agents find themselves overwhelmed by the sheer number of creatures, the captain remains unshakable. Ronin races through the carnage, desperate to reach Luna with a first aid kit. Returning to the wreckage, he sees the shattered steel windows. Lee Aram readies her power to strike, but Ronin steps in to block her path. The veteran soldier remains relentless, attacking him as Ronin struggles to understand her sudden aggression. In a desperate attempt to prove her point, Lee Aram pulls back Luna's blanket. The truth is undeniable. Luna's chest wound is turning to ash, a sign reserved only for the damned. Only monsters can disintegrate like that. Lee Aram is convinced if Luna is a monster, she must be eliminated. To the veteran, there's no middle ground. Ronin tells her she's being foolish, but her conviction remains unshaken. Covering Luna once more to shield her from the lethal verdict of a friend, he reminds her of the years they fought side by side. He makes a chilling admission: he is not human either, and he won't let humans become his enemies too. Lee Aram's gaze is as cold as an iceberg, making the very air feel freezing and heavy as she stares at Ronin. She remains undecided on his side. But as news of the city's destruction screams through the radio, her stance shifts, because survival now takes precedence over vendettas. While regular M1 agents struggle, the elite units hold the line. Amidst the carnage, Sia and her partner tear through demons, and meanwhile, Lee Aram returns to the front lines even as the most powerful agent, capable of slaughtering dozens at once. Nothing can prepare her for what is coming. A demon lunges from the chaos, catching the veteran off guard. Before she can react, it sinks its teeth into her arm. With a single blow, Ronin destroys the monster, saving Lee Aram yet again. He is relentless, tearing through the creatures as he searches for Chen, the one who started this nightmare. His gaze is piercing and full of intent. The sight of him sends a familiar chill down Lee Aram's spine. She informs him that there have been no sightings of the enemy, suggesting he is lurking in the shadows. She offers to accompany him, but the injury is too much. The pain from her bite is too much to endure. Deciding she must return to the M1 base to heal, she realizes something is wrong. Lee Aram's wound is behaving strangely, shedding ashes just like Luna's did. While Chen watches demons swarm the city, his servant reports that the Demon King will reward him for finding the key. The subordinate doesn't notice the sudden tension. The subordinate reveals they nearly eliminated the girl, prompting Chen to ruthlessly decapitate a monster in a fit of rage. Back at the M1 base, Lee Aram is finally treated. The doctor is baffled, noting that a human shouldn't be able to heal quite so perfectly, and snaps the syringe from the doctor's hand, demanding to know exactly what is in it. The doctor is caught off guard by the sudden aggression and tries to question her, but Liram only cares about the truth. Fearful of the agent's intensity, the doctor watches as Liram slams her against the wall to force an answer. The doctor claims it is only painkillers, but Liram's eyes burn with a newfound suspicion. The doctor's lies crumble, and the horrific truth is finally revealed. She's been injecting monster DNA into humans to grant them power. Liram stares in shock, realizing her entire life of fighting monsters might have been built on a foundation of monstrosity itself. The doctor tries to justify the cruelty, claiming it's the only way for humanity to stand a chance against the demon onslaught. But Liram is beyond listening, her focus shifting toward the secret lab where these twisted experiments are conducted. She follows the doctor, realizing that she has been transformed into the very creature she spent her life hating, and the betrayal by her own people feels unbearable as they head toward the lab. Everything was a lie. Lirarum realizes her power was nothing more than a tool for manipulation. Furious, she decides to stop being a puppet and targets the doctor's pride by unleashing the very demons she once feared. The creatures Lirarum once sought to control now turn on their master, seizing her by the neck to prepare her for a slow, gruesome death. The doctor pleads for mercy, desperate to invoke Lirarum's humanity, but those cries fall on deaf ears.
That plea goes unanswered.
As the lab doors slam shut, the doctor is left alone with her monsters. Much later, Luna finally wakes up to find an unexpected companion waiting. The woman who once looked down on her is still there. Luna wakes up in a daze, wondering if Lirarum has come to finish the job. But for the first time, Lirarum's voice is calm, leaving Luna to wonder if she knows the truth about Luna's demon nature and Ronin. Luna asks if she's here to kill her, but Lirarum only questions how she could be so ungrateful for the care she received. But the girl refuses to listen to such ingratitude. Because Lirarum makes it clear, Ronin is the only hope left to fix this nightmare, and he will only fight if Luna is safe. With the agents falling around him, the weight of the world's survival rests solely on Ronin.